I am Candice. I work at the Passionate Home. Yay! So we're just so happy for all of you that are joining us. We're going to have a lot of fun today. Mother's Day is coming up. So I thought, how fun would it be to do a little something for our moms? And so that's what we're going to do. We are going to go back to, remember back in the days, preschool, kindergarten, and you made your mama something for Mother's Day? So today we're going to maybe do that a little upscale. So a little bit of what we're going to do, a little bit of a collage. I've got some things prepped. We're going to be using so many products today. We won't finish the whole thing, but we are going to give you the idea. This could be awesome for Mother's Day. This could be awesome for a new baby. Just a family sort of gallery wall, and these all hang on a little metal strip that goes on the wall. So that's what we're going to do today. We're going to be using molds. I've already prepped some and done a little bit of work ahead of time. So we've got frames too. We've got a trimmings. We'll probably end up with some vintage texture because I love it. Le Courrier Stamp. I think I have a brand new one over here so you guys can see it. It is magical for background. I love it. We're going to be using a little bit of the typeset letters. We might use a little bit of Millot's transfer. We might use a little bit of Bella. We might use some Alpha Belly. So lots of ideas going on in this crazy mind of mine, and we'll see where we get. All right, so you guys might come along for a crazy ride. So
it's good to use any little bits that you've got left over.
I have.
Right?
I mean, the reality is that all these little ones here are from, I think this is from Redoubt. This, I think, might even be from Brocante. I think this is from Floral Anthology. The little melange. My brain's not working. And this is just a really old one that we've had forever that is no longer current. But we have these pieces, and for some reason they didn't get used, so I'm going to use them today. So lots of things to go through. We are going to just disconnect some of these and get started. We are not going to do all of this because it would take me forever. So to start, I thought we would just recreate. So this is just these really simple, flat, boring frames. And I thought that I'm going to show you how I did this one so we can recreate it, and then we can just set it aside and we can work with this one for the next project piece. So let's start. I did use this trimmings here, and this one, it sort of looks almost like acorns or something. I just think it's super cool. Here we go. We're going to use some clay. I brought a new one up in case I run out. But basically, once you've opened your IOD Air Dry Clay, you do want to seal it up. And I find that cling wrap, press and seal, just because it's sticky, keeps all the air out. So we're going to get started here, and I don't need quite that much right now. We'll see what we need to do. I like to pre-roll this out so that it mimics the shape that I'm going to go into, and I don't have so much extra clay to work off. All right, so I'm just going to roll this out. Isn't this the best thing? Seriously, it's like preschool all over again. I love it.
Mother's Day art, like
right.
Is it Play-Doh?
It's Play-Doh, yeah. Yeah. Alrighty, so rolling that one out. I do want to pop a wee bit of cornstarch in here just to help that pop out. Alright, so I am just squishing that in there, and we're just going to use tons of products today because I can never make up my mind. So I'm just making sure that's nice and in there. And now I'm going to scooch off the excess with my thumb. Again, those rims really help make it easy to work with. I'm gonna flip it over now and go this direction. Alrighty, making sure it's nice and flat. And we're going to flip it over. So when you're demolding your castings, you do want to flip this over, and then it just pops out really easy. Beautiful. Use your thumbs and gravity. Alright, so when I look at this piece here, I know that it's definitely longer than I need. So we're going to leave that one there for right now, and we are going to go ahead and do. So you could just add another trim here and a trim here and trim it out that way, but I find that I do like to trim it off a little bit neater. So here we go again, and I mean, you guys, this is so easy to work with. Beautiful artist grade clay. Alrighty, so here we go. We've got our second one prepped. And not that I have to do this whole thing for you to see, I just want you to see the process. Now what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to lay this one directly over top of the first one there, lining it up, and then I'm going to take my X-Acto knife and I'm going to go from corner to corner.
Oh.
And then this is going to line up beautifully.
Voila.
Okay, all right, so here we go again, and I'm looking where that corner is, corner to corner, and pressing all the way down, removing that piece, removing that piece, and it just fits right in. Now you do have a little bit of, with the air dry clay, there is that chance, no, I'm going to do one more. There is that chance that you're going to get some shrinkage, but I'm just going to show you how I sort of preemptive deal with that. A couple things that I do. So again, right in there. And that's got one coat of paint, and I would like to give it a second one because, you know, but I let it dry first. So that one, just like what I'm doing here, I did do it all right from wet. Probably more than enough there. So we're just going to pop it. Do as I say, not as I do. If you pull it out like I just did, you do run the risk of stretching it more, which is going to create more cracks. So do flip it over, but I'm just going to do this here, corner to corner. That piece off, that piece off. There we go. And the last one here.
It's a really great way to, you know, update a flat frame.
Right, and we just have, with IOD, there's so many different trimming options that there's something for every frame. And this was a really skinny frame to start with, right? Okay, I should be wrapping this up right away. 2 seconds. So it does dry out quickly, so when you're not using it, do wrap it back up. And so here's my little trick here. So that's ready to go. I have a nice thick glue, basically a white glue that's going to dry clear is what you want. And I'm going to put my little a bead right down the center of there. I'm going to run it right along. So pretty much everything is covered to the edges. I put a little dab there and a little dab on that end. Let's lay it down. Okay, that one is in place. And here's the trick. When I do the next one, I'm going to push them together, okay? So that I'm not stretching, rather I'm trying to make sure that they're a little bit closer. And then again, a little bit on those edges. And I'm upside down. Okay, so here we go. I want to push these edges together. And then I like to paint it while it's still wet. Okay, so everything, that paint is helping to hold it together too. And instead of pulling it and manipulating it, I'm pushing them together. Some people like to use a brush when they're doing this. I just use my fingers. My fingers will be a hot mess at the end of it, but you know, isn't that half the fun of creating? So again, pushing those corners together. Okay, so look how we just turned that boring flat frame, like this one here, into something beautiful. And once it's painted, and look at those edges, so we've pushed them together, so we should not have too much in the way of cracking. This one here, really, because I painted it when it was wet, there's really no cracking. There's little bits of paint that didn't go where it needed to go.
Not that cracks are the worst thing.
No, but you don't want a big gap.
No.
So, alrighty. So we're just going to set this one aside now to dry. And we'll finish that at another time. So let's move on to, I want to move on to this one. This is my favorite. We've got some transfers. I've pre-made this one, again, just with the clay. I did paint the inside of this white, and I did just seal it, just because today, so that I have, you know, if I make a mess, I don't have to paint. I can just wipe back. So that's the plan here. And this is going to go on here. And my sweet mama, look at this. So this was a photo of her and her siblings, and the girls all had these huge matching bows to their dresses, and her brother had a matching shirt, I think, and they all, and and she's so adorable.
Like,
I don't know, 4, 6, I don't know, something like that. But I'm in love with that photo. Alrighty, and we're going to use this as our O for mom. So, first things first, we're going to get some stamping on here. This one here, I've already pre-stamped Le Courrier, so that's what we're going to be working with. I love that background. It's sort of old vintage newspaper. I should show here too. So I did use this one here, is from the Frames mold. I've used that one there. I've used this one as well, and then I also did this one. So I did some so you don't have to see me doing all of that. We might come back and do more, we'll see. But I want to keep on track so that you guys get to see as much as possible. Okay, so here we go. Again, when you are loading up your stamp, it's really important that your stamp is on the ground nice and flat, and you're going to stamp it with your ink on top. So for this one, I did the stone gray, and I think I'm going to do the same because I want this to pop, and that's going to be with the black ink. Alrighty, so here we go. I'm just going to look at where I'm going to put this. I don't think I want the heading this time because I did it last time. So I think we're going to go here, and then we can always add more as we go. So we're going to start right about here. And again, it's nice and flat. I'm just stamping. This is an archival ink. IOD has amazing inks. They come in a bottle like this. You load up a pad, and it lasts you, trust me, for a very long time. And then we might do a little ink mixing later too, because I have thoughts. I have thoughts, people. All right, so we're gonna bring this over here, and I am going to just get some.
So what you're stamping, is that just the back of the picture frame, the original frame?
Yeah, so that I just gave it a coat of paint, and yeah, just keeping it simple. The biggest thing here is I do want to have it fairly lined up and lay it. Once I lay it, I'm committing to it. If it's a little bit off, it's a little bit off, but I need to commit, okay? So there we go. Ta-da! Okay, and I'm just going to ink up another section.
How do you match the sections? Or do you?
I'm not too worried about matching it perfectly. I'm doing the whole thing because I'm not really sure what's going to go on there yet. And let's have a look. I kind of like this section here. I'm going to go here, and I'm just going to, so I haven't put it all the way down. Whoops. Because I can sort of see where I ended. There we go.
Oh, nailed
so
it.
Don't mind that at all. That works.
Yeah.
Part of me is like, I want to just kind of add a little bit here because I love these, whatever they are. Coins, I guess. Let's put this one right there. Just because. Love it. All right. So all of these do come off. You can peel them off if you want to. Yeah.
Like every section?
Every section. Oh. Yeah, it's amazing. I'm just going to, while I have that inked up, I'm going to take this little one here and use a piece of it. So when I pull them off, I like to throw them onto a grid. I just have a little bit more handling ease. So I'm going to stick that one on there, and then I'm going to stick the next one beside it, and we'll see. Oh, I don't know. No, I'm going to start with just the one and add a little bit onto this one. So this is where at home I just sort of prepped some of these so that you get to see the process, but you don't necessarily have to see every little bit of it. Okay, I'm not even pressing it perfectly. I'm loving that. I'm going to use the same one again.
So you got to hang in there just to see how it all comes together at the end.
It's just stuff, right?
Nice, sweet, yes.
Super cute. All right, so we've got that basic stamp there, but of course that's not quite enough. I want more. So I think we are going to wait with our vintage textures. We're going to do that in a moment. I think right now I want to bring in some transfers on here. So I know I'm going to have my mom here, somewhere in here. So I do want this to be a little bit overlapping. So I think we're going to do one of these here. And this isn't really old. This is still from the tubes, Japonica, but it's still beautiful, right? I think we're just going to come over like this. There we go. And where's my little tool? Here we go. So we're just going to play that on there. And oh, look at that, coming off so beautifully already. You just have to start somewhere. I'm just going to tuck that around the back. Alrighty. So there's our base right there.
Beautiful.
I like to go back over them and make sure that they are fully rubbed down. And then I wanted a little piece coming from the top here, just to tie it together. So I think we're just going to scissors. Cut a little piece here, maybe, ish. So this could come in on the other ones to tie it together. I mean, just the options are endless. Yeah, I think like that. That's going to be hidden anyway. All right. Whoop. Okay, so there we go. Okay, I don't love how that one is a sharp, but I think in the grand scheme of things, I don't think anyone's even going to see that. Maybe that's just a me thing. And if I wanted to, I could come in and just, actually, let's just do that. Because, you know, if I'm saying it now, I'm going to think it later. So I'm just going to cut this out as if it was just coming right off of it. Just add it in. There we go.
That's good.
Right? Because now it's covered all of that harsh straight edge.
There you go.
So I'm going to decoupage her face on here. And I just ran my paper through a regular copy paper. But when I'm going on a curved surface, I find that paper's a little bit too thick. So I'm going to show you a little trick how I thinned it down just a little bit. On this solid surface, I'm just going to decoupage this. I just fussy cut it out, and I'm just going to decoupage that on there. I'm not worried about making it a thinner piece. But for this, here, I'm going to do it on this one here. So look, there's my mom and dad. This is at my son's wedding in December. Look at that beautiful white hair. Okay, so I'm using packing tape, and I'm just going to flip this over, and I'm going to start lining up some packing tape. One down there. I'm going to take another piece, and I'm going to go directly over top of that one.
Have you seen this before, people?
And then one more. So you could do where you were, an option is to photocopy onto tissue paper.
Tissue paper, yeah.
And I've done that many times as well. But this is also a way to do it. Okay, so I'm just making sure that, look at this has a pattern on it. Hopefully that's not going to be a problem. Okay, so I am starting from where I left off. And I've overlapped it so that I can pull it from this corner. Actually, let's pull from up here. And pull this way. If I pull from this corner, there's a good chance I'm going to rip that paper. But I'm just going to pull here. And you can see that thin layer of the paper is coming off.
Secrets.
Right. Again, I'm pulling from this corner gently. So my last one, I'm going the opposite direction. I'm pulling off. Oh yeah. So if you had a really thick paper, you can keep doing that and make it thinner and thinner and thinner. So, but that's going to do the job for me. And I'm just going to, actually I'm not going to water cut it out because I think it fits almost perfectly in here if I just cut that out. I don't even know how that happened, you guys, because I was having such an issue sizing this. And then I made this and I'm like, oh, it's perfect. So I have pre-painted my mold with a light color. So it's like a light sort of white color, because I do want all of this to pop. Okay, so I've cut it a little bit short, but I can just come in with the dark color and fill it, and no one's going to see the difference. Okay.
Are you going to put something on top of the black?
Yeah, we're going to gild it.
Or?
Yeah. Yeah, come on now.
Well,
come on now. Okay, so I'm just going to use a little bit of whatever glue medium you're going to use. I find that when I'm using it on a little bit of a thicker piece of paper, I do like a little bit of a thicker glue medium. If I'm doing tissue paper or something, I would just use a lacquer. So there we go. And I could just give this a quick little spritz. And that is the top, right? It is now. And then because it's so little, I don't need a plastic or anything. I'm just going to go right over top of here and glue them on. Okay? So we're just going to leave that. So that edge there, I'm just going to come in later and just add a little bit of the black, and it'll just blend in. Okay? So that was that one, and now we're going to go ahead and do this one, which I've already made this one a little bit smaller. This one is not fully dry either, because I just made it with the clay, whereas the other one I just pre-made it with some resin at home, just so that I had steps for you, right? So again, just a little spritz of water, and then we're going to lay it in there. I can paint right over that little edge. I'm not worried about it.
Does she know you're doing this?
She does not. No.
You know, even if moms aren't around anymore, this is kind of a nice thing to do as a memory thing as well.
Totally. A little bit of a wrinkle up there. We are working with a rounded surface, but I don't mind it. I can come back later and sort of add some like dark wax or something, and just make those little bits actually make it look like it's so much older. Look how beautiful. Can you see it?
There we go. Yeah.
Yeah, she's so sweet. So sweet. Now, while we're at it, let's just throw this down here. And again with this one, because it's just a flat surface, I didn't bother to make it a little bit of a thinner paper. There, it's me and one of my daughters. That's the daughter from Edmonton, and my mama. So here's what I thought with this one. How fun would it be? Let's do it right now. So I just thought it would be fun to put a little bit of a floral in there. And this is from Millot's pages, and really there's so many billions of beautiful goodness in here. There we go. And I'm just using my nail, although we'll see with this one. There we go. Look at that. How adorable. Just layers and bits.
That's enough. Like it's like
right? I'm going to paint this black though.
Oh, you do. Oh, yeah.
Right? So that's going to pop in there. I don't know. I might just leave that. I was going to paint it black to match this, just
I don't think so.
to layer. And this will get gilding wax.
I think I would leave it.
Okay, so there we go. One, boom, done. So let's come in here. I want to get my MOM going here for Mom. So this we are going to paint with some dark color. I do find that when I'm painting with all of these details, I do like to add just a little bit of water. Sorry, am I leaving you there?
Yeah.
Leaving you in the dust.
You're
Here we
hard
go.
to follow.
I'm a hard act to follow.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so just getting into all of the details. There's so many details in here. And I'm not the steadiest hand in the world, but, you know, we did decoupage there, so technically I should be able to wipe it back if I need to. And then actually when we gild over top, because that's when really all those details pop. Often you need to come in with a second coat just to touch up anything that doesn't quite. And this isn't in there perfectly, but again, because of the color choices in that sepia, I don't actually not love it,
yeah.
right?
Especially if you're going to leave this other one.
See? Oh, look at how pretty that's going to be on there. So I'm just going to hit it with a wee bit of heat here. There you go. Carrie can show you some of the in process. Okay, it's dry enough to not be making a mess. I did not bring a measuring thingy with me, So let's just kind of go from here. 2, 3, 4, 5. 27 divided by 2, so 13 and a half. Right, it's girl measure.
Yeah.
We girl measured. Hey, I'm pretty happy with that, actually, not gonna lie. That lines up with her eyeballs. How about that?
Okay.
Okay. So again, just a nice thick white glue that I should have closed. Okay, eyeballs were lined up. So I'm pushing this. I can actually give it a little bit of pressure because it's mostly dry. If this is very fresh, you'd want to be a little bit more gentle than I am being. And I'm making sure that those edges are all the way down. Is that, oh, that's ink. I don't mind that actually at all. So that's on there. Now we want to make sure that our M's line up. So when I look at this, I'm going to line this right up on one of those lines. Then I can know that I have a full square. These grids are amazing. And then when I do this one, it's going to have a full square. I'm going to use the black ink for this one because I do want to mirror this and I want it to stand off of that first one. And I want to make sure, because you guys know, I'm a messy stamper. These thin mounts are magical when you have something small and you just want to know exactly where you're placing it. Okay, so there we go. And up. Love it. Okay, so remember we had a 1 square space. So I'm just now moving it so that it'll be 1 square from there. And again, inking it up fresh so that it's a fresh stamp. So it's really important that you don't shift. If I had pre-sealed this, then if the chance that I shifted, I could just go and wipe it off with a wet wipe and start over. But I haven't sealed yet, so. Oh, you guys, look at that. How adorable.
Oh, wow.
I'm loving it.
What do you think? How sweet is that?
I will come in later. And I think I want to put, I'm thinking it's just about time, but I'm thinking I'd like to put this topper on the top. So if I flip it over for you, right?
Oh, I see, yeah.
I'm going to paint them all the same. I want some of them to be trimmed out and painted, and some of them I want to not be, so that we have that mix up there.
Sorry, people. Yeah.
And we are going to move on to this one. Okay, so again, we have Le Courrier. We're going to put this lovely in the center here. Here we go. Okay, so we're just going to add a little bit of something
really
here.
Fun project to do for somebody you love.
Right? I'm loving it. And maybe actually I want this maybe there.
Do you need it?
Just keep it simple.
I think so.
Okay, so I'm going to use this stamp. I'm going to try something, first time that I've not done before. So first of all, I'm just going to add, I'm using the black just so it differentiates from here, but I'm going to be really light-handed because I don't want to, obliterate. Oh, yeah. Oh! Do you see why I love vintage textures? Like, it just is
and it's
gorgeous.
Not overkill. It's just part of it.
Exactly. I'm going to a little bit along the outside edge. Okay, so that one we're stopping. We're going to glue. Well, I still have stuff on this one. There we go. And I'm not re-stamping this because it's going to be hit and miss, and I love it. This is where I just kind of go fast, and Carrie's like, I can't follow you. Okay, that one's going to the side. Okay, so here we go.
Really,
again.
You could create a photo wall, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just individuals,
So
and this
great.
just happens to be where it goes together. Okay, so this one is going on, the gilding still. And then I will be painting the frames. I'm going to lay it out so you can get an idea of how it's going to look. So this one is going to be here, and this one is going to hang off of there. And then this one comes up here, and then there's another big one that goes here. So that's the pattern. So you're seeing what potentially it's going to look like. And oh no, I wanted to try this. I wanted to try a mix of turmeric yellow ink and a little bit of French linen. And I want to see if I can make sort of a, stone gray.
Okay.
Oh my word. And I want to see if I can mix those up a little bit.
What are you hoping to
and
make?
Create a sepia sort of ink.
Ah.
Okay, so we're just going to take one of these off, and I'm just going to go like this and mix some. I'm going to I think it's going to work. So I've just got a little sponge here. I'm just going to see if I can just see what happens. It looks like maybe I have too much of the one color because I probably should have blended it together. But even just look at how this is now giving another little aged layer.
I love it. Actually.
And I bet if I added just a hint of water, it might even just make it flow that little bit. If this was sealed, it would totally. Yeah, I like that. So again, it's just a mix of the two inks. Okay, so there you go. Okay, and that was just playing. So, and I really, really love it. So there you go, play people. And I could even come back over here a wee bit. And then I'm just going to finish it off with some gilding wax. Oh, look at how that mix of these inks just gives it a whole nother layer. Love it. And my gilding wax, I'm going to use a warm gold.
What's your mom's name?
Hilda.
Hilda.
This is just adding that little bit, right? And I like to mix my colors, so I'm using a warm gold first. Okay, look at how the details just come to life.
Oh yeah, whatever color that was beautiful.
Yeah, it's a warm gold, but I like to mix, so I'm going to add a little bit of a cooler gold on top of that, just in some spots. And again, here we go. Oh, look at this one. Look at it just come to life. All of those details. And I need to come back in and actually paint over
that is the money.
Little area. But it really is.
It's usually the crackle stamp, but this is the money today.
Even the frames that I'm just going to keep simple, and oh, look at that. All the detail. I am just going to run a wee bead of just a finger smudge of some of that gild on them as well. So there we go. A little bit of both. Brighten it up in spots. There you can see what's going to happen here. Ideally, I would give this one more coat of paint, but so there you go. We've used lots of molds today. We've used air dry clay. We have used transfers. We have used stamps. We've used ink in both stamping and then just creating. So I want you to see that there's so much that you can do with these amazing products. If you haven't got a stockist near you, go on to the ironorchidsdesign.com and find one. I wish you all a happy Mother's Day. Thanks, guys.